Konbanwa and welcome to this episode of Toukon Retsuden, the world of Japanese professional wrestling. I am your navigator, the great Riki, and this, my co-host, Mr. Daniel Edward Ginnetty, Esquire.
How's it going, everybody? We've got two exciting matches to cover today. One's going to feature Jun Akiyama, who is now in All Japan, but we'll get to that later. And we'll also feature a match with the current IWGP Heavyweight Champion, Kazuhika Okada, against Minoru Suzuki, which is always fun stuff. Everybody likes Suzuki.
Yes. So Jun Akiyama, who began in All Japan.
Yes.
Then went to Noah.
Yep.
Then went to...
Back to All Japan.
Oh, back to All Japan? Yeah. There's nowhere in between?
I don't think so. They tried and tried with Akiyama for a long time, and then they didn't have any money, and a lot of the big stars said, if you're not going to pay us, we'll just go somewhere else, and they went as an invading force to All Japan, and now they're in All Japan.
Yeah, and a lot of them say, if you're not going to pay us here, we're going to go somewhere else and not be paid.
That's right. That'll teach
Which
you.
Is really the problem that the entire world of Japanese professional wrestling seems to be facing right now. Certainly we saw it in the early 2000s. Basically, the women's game virtually became non-existent as far as real functioning federations.
Yeah.
You have a few different groups that have shows now and again, but the concept of, for instance, All Japan women running weekly shows and running things, they were running among the most shows of any promotion.
Yeah, they would run up to 300 shows a year.
And that just doesn't exist at this point. And now we're seeing the men's game suffer much the same consequence in that they are not drawing anyone to a lot of these shows. We're talking about a handful of big shows. I know you've done the research on a lot of this. New Japan is still as it's been since, well, basically its inception in 1972, the promotion that's drawn the most people.
Yep.
It really helps if you've got the charisma and the backing, and they've had it since Inoki started the federation.
Yep, they had backing from TV Asahi, and they still enjoy that. They're the only ones with a weekly real network television show. Granted, it's a half-hour long at like 2 in the morning on Saturday, but better than nothing. They've been ahead, they've been more important, and they've made more money for the last 40 years, and it looks like it's going to continue that way because All Japan and Noah are hurting. It has been so long since Noah has drawn more than 1,000 people to a show. It's scary. The last two Global Heavyweight Championship matches have drawn 1,500 and 1,700 fans. That is not a good sign for a promotion. And All Japan is better off, but not by much at all. They got their roster decimated recently, and we'll cover that as things move on, but
we're a little tight on time.
We are a little tight on time. We'll go to the first match. It's from September 17th, 1992. It is the debut of Jun Akiyama, and he will face Kenta Kobashi in his very first match. So there's a lot of build-up. Talk about build-up for a newcomer. This is about as good as you can get. 1992, facing one of the stars of the promotion in your very first match.
All right, well, with that being the case, Dan, let's go to that match right now. And there you see a very young and chipper
and healthy
Akiyama, yeah. Not as big as he's become, is he? Not as thick. Although good shoulder development there already.
Yeah, he was, what was he, like a 19... I can't remember. He was a legit athlete. I don't have my notes with me, but I recall him being a legitimate wrestling star in the amateur world before coming into All Japan.
Boy, does he look young. And this match is single fall for 45 minutes. I'm going to bet it doesn't go that
45 minutes for a debut. Look at the push this kid gets.
Yeah, right from the start. And he's proven over the last 20 or so years, Dan, not to really have deserved it entirely.
No.
But he's done okay. I mean, he hasn't been... he's been only a disappointment in the same way that someone like Bobby Bonds was a disappointment, or Johnny Damon. When you expect them to be so huge stars, they've got an awful high road to climb. Even if they are very successful, they're never going to reach that. And hear the entrance music of Mr. Kenta Kobashi. Oh, this looks like it's Korakuen.
Yes. There comes Kenta Kobashi looking healthy.
Well, at least walking some, which is...
Is his leg taped up, though? His leg has got to be taped up. That right thigh?
Oh, yeah.
No, he's just got the knee thing on it. He'll get the thigh later on.
In fact, Dan, very soon, I don't think it's this show. It isn't this show, but we're going to be doing in an upcoming episode the retirement of Kenta Kobashi.
Yep, May 11th, 2013. He wrapped it up. He hung up his boots for the last time.
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see. He is in such bad shape, and he's wrestled like one match a year for the last 4 years. If you look at his total number of matches in the last 8 years, I don't think it's been 100. Just because he was injured so many times.
He had such bad knee problems for a long time. It didn't look like I know there were reports that they were virtually carrying him to the ring. I mean, he would get assisted into cars and everything.
Yeah,
and
it's like not the Lou Gehrig thing. Who was the other guy? Maybe it was Lou Gehrig. Just so he could continue to get his streak of games. They used to have to carry him out of the cab into Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, that would have been the last year. And now they are circling, and there's the bell to start the match. Kobashi in orange, Akiyama in blue. And those actually remain pretty much to this day what their traditional colors.
Yep. Orange Crush was Kobashi's nickname for a while, and Blue Soul, I believe, was the name of Akiyama's gimmick. In fact, Akiyama just had a 6 DVD box set released. It's funny that Misawa's had 3 box sets, Kobashi's had 2, Akiyama's had 1, but no Taui and no Kawada, which is a shame.
Actually, Kawada, it's really too bad. And actually, the two of them in tag matches. And nice reversals here. Groundwork really working. Ground wrestling, basically swinging and countering each other's moves, coming up to his feet to get out of it first. Is Kobashi, which is a big push for Akiyama right there because Kobashi bailed on the exchange.
Kobashi kept pushing him off and then finally said, I don't think I can win doing this.
He will win doing that, though.
Well, you can see that Kobashi's got the size. We know he's got experience. We know he's got strength. But quickness, I don't think he's got. And amateur background, I don't think he has either. So you see Akiyama using like leg takedown maneuvers and more of amateur style wrestling moves, and it's going to be Kobashi's job to show why that doesn't always work in the pro wrestling environment.
And certainly, as he developed, that became less important to Akiyama's repertoire.
Yeah, he would emulate these guys who had already been dropping themselves on their heads for a while.
Shoulder block from Kobashi sends down Akiyama.
We go with the exploder, jumping knee, and pretty much get into the same style of offense that all the other guys use.
Nice counter again by Akiyama. They're up. Take it over. Nice job again. Good sequence of maneuvers now for a rookie. First match. How long has he been working to get this match ready? That's the question, but pretty good work so far. Nothing horribly missed. Really good in-ring technique between the two. And then again, they put him in with probably at this point, what, the number 4 star, number 5 star?
92, Jumbo was technically still around, but by September of 92, he had dropped off quite a bit. So you're looking at Misawa, Kawada. Taui was there, but
he was always still Taui.
Yeah, I think Taui was just the doppelganger of Baba, since Baba had basically disappeared at this point.
Of course, he was still Baba, so I guess he's a star, too. Nice job by Akiyama, going for a cover quickly, barely gets a 1, trying to control the arms of Kobashi. Now remember, one of Kobashi's big maneuvers is a lariat. So any work done to his arm by Akiyama could, in theory, and should result in that weapon being less effective.
That's what I would work on. His legs are always taped up, but no matter how often you beat on him, he's still around at the end of the match. So even though he looks like his right leg might be ripe for the picking, it hasn't worked out for anyone else. So he's giving up on that and going straight to the arm.
Back elbow takes Akiyama down, right in the mush.
Too bad he didn't go for the elbow. Maybe that would have helped him there. Front face lock, taking down Akiyama. Let's see if he can escape, and he does.
Nice work, and back to the arm, and going for a hammer lock if he can swing it up.
I don't know, that's a big arm.
Gotta say, for me, Dan, and there's no question, this isn't a put down of any of the other guys. My favorite guy in all Japan during this period was Kobashi. I loved his work rate. He had some of the best matches when he was on. It was a match that mattered. I don't think there was anyone who was any better, and if there was, his name was Mitsuharu Misawa. And you don't get any better than that.
Kobashi had advantages over the other guys. One, he was a real heavyweight, where the other guys were juiced up junior weights who weren't even juiced up. They were just smaller. And also, you have a big guy who knows how to wrestle well, but it can also be carried to tremendous matches. When you're having matches with Misawa and Kawada, guess what? You're going to be in classics, whether you earn it or not. These guys will carry you the entire way and make you look like $1 million
And he
doing
was,
it.
if nothing else, good enough to be carried. And we've seen him in other matches with other guys that suggest he was better than that.
Yeah.
Nice takedown by Kobashi. The other factor that he had that none of the other had, he actually has a charisma.
Yeah, he is a charisma that can be seen by just about anybody, where the other ones have an understated charisma or more of a reputation, probably more so.
Nobody lived more on that than Mitsuharu Misawa.
Yeah, Misawa had the rep. Kawada was the shooter/kicker guy, but his it wasn't like he was an acquired taste. He just didn't have that crazy charisma like a Muto. Nobody's got that.
No.
And Kobashi was basically All Japan's version of Muto. He had an outward charisma that people could perceive, and he wasn't a bad wrestler either.
No, but to then put him back in New Japan, he'd be the 5th or 6th best charisma guy there at best.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many guys who had exuded that, and that was more a part of their game. The in-ring stuff really, as important as it is in New Japan, which can have great matches as well, particularly at this point in the early 90s, until they are all basically, I shudder to use the word because of the circumstances, they were basically crippled and dead to the point where they were no longer effective being able to do it.
Yeah.
That's what these guys lived on.
And
it
didn't take that long either. I seem to recall even as far back as late 1997, you could see the signs before the first Dome show with Misawa and Kawada. You knew those guys were beat up. So they did the style for 6 years, and that was it.
Yeah,
and after that, they were never the same.
And Misawa, of course, had been wrestling since what, early 1980?
1980 for him, and 1981 or 82 for Kawada.
So Misawa, also having been the second Tiger Mask, had done some more, a little bit of flying here and there. I mean, he'd been busy for a long time. So you're talking, by that point, 97, he's been in the pros for 17 years. And then you're doing a more difficult style for the last 5 of that, you're really beating on yourself. But that is, to a degree, the price you pay as Kobashi administers a pretty well set in abdominal stretch. That's the price you pay for not having charisma.
Yeah, if you don't have charisma, then you really do have to beat people up, and it has to look more than legit. And injuries are going to happen because you can't sell just the fact that you're going to be at an arena fighting some guy. That's not good enough to sell a ticket. You have to say, we're going to beat the heck out of each other. Come see the spectacle.
And of course, that's what they lived on, where they built their reputation. If not only in Japan, but also to the people in the States and across the world, is their tough, hard-hitting, legit striking style. Is unlike any other promotion has done, other than once you got to Noah.
Sure.
Which tried to go even a step crazier.
When it got worse.
With guys who are older and more broken already. So it doesn't leave itself for a long life. I mean, to put it in perspective, you've got a guy, and then sometimes the masks have certainly helped. You've got a guy like Jushin Liger, who didn't really, I mean, he definitely had a fan base behind him when he was just Keiichi Yamada early on. But once he put on that mask, he exuded even more charisma. And he's been able to do that for 20 years now.
Sure.
And
almost 25.
These guys have never done that.
Yeah. Because they just don't have it. It's not their fault.
It really is just an it factor. It's hard to define, and Kobashi is the one that has it somewhat.
And Jumbo definitely had it.
Jumbo had it. Jumbo was probably the guy in All Japan history who had probably the most.
Yep.
And was, again, similar to Kobashi, and one of the best workers around.
And a legit heavyweight as well.
Yep, and there you go.
And that matters.
Yep, and Baba was clearly a legit heavyweight. Didn't really have the charisma, and, couldn't really work, but he was Baba.
Yes, he was Baba. He was the freak that people came to see.
And showing his fighting spirit is Akiyama, taking those chops from Kobashi. Big forearm to the chest, and another by Akiyama, drives him back. Kick to the face by Kobashi. Coming up, flying, jumping little elbow has Kobashi staggered, but they're both feeling the effects now. Drop kick takes Kobashi down. You can see why, as barely a 2 count for Akiyama there, you can see why in watching this, there was belief Akiyama could be the it. Could be the next thing. but he never evolved beyond this.
No, he never
In a
got
real
that
sense.
much farther, and he got carried along the entire way, and it just never panned out. But the sad part was that he comes in the head dropping era, and 6 years later, he's beat up too. You know, there isn't much left to Akiyama after that. So
Nope.
even a guy like Masao, who had wrestled 10 years before the head dropping style began, after 6 years of head dropping, he was wasted. These guys come in as a rookie. Right as the head dropping style begins, 6 years later, 7 years later, they're wasted too. It was the style that ripped these guys apart, and because they didn't have, you know, there wasn't another way for them to make money.
Kobashi working him over there in the corner. Followed him with a lariat, took him down with a chop, and now has him staggered and trying to fight to keep in the match is Akiyama. But a good show. I mean, how many first matches do you get against
you kidding?
a guy of this level?
No, that just doesn't happen.
With the bridging suplex, only a 2. Akiyama kicking out. And, I mean, you're pushing the guy more than you can almost push anyone. You couldn't give him a match. Jumbo, as you said, is barely out even
Because he's got hepatitis at this point, so
Right.
he's in bad shape.
Misawa and Kobashi, you go any further than this, you don't want to put him in with Towie because you don't know what you're going to get for a match.
Yeah,
Towie
Towie might just
tagged,
yeah.
but could be awful.
I wouldn't trust Towie to carry this guy.
No, not this early especially.
Not in
So
the
then you've
first
got to
match.
put him in with either your 1 or 2 guy, which is almost too high in elevation.
Yeah, what do you do
Moves
after
beyond
that?
him. That's right.
How do you follow up that?
Enzugiri to the back of the head there, takes Akiyama down. Kobashi in control, it appears now.
Uh-oh.
Side suplex,
No!
takes him over, goes for the cover. 2, kicking out just a 2.5 is Akiyama.
Backdrop suplex, and Akiyama kicks out of a big move from Kobashi. Granted, it's not the moonsault.
Overhand chop now sets him up for a series of chops, comes off the rope. Nice takedown by Akiyama, caught him coming.
Like a power slam.
It's an arm drag power slam.
Yeah.
That might actually be known as the moss-covered family credenza.
Yeah.
Coming out big,
Oh.
takes Akiyama down.
Oh, from behind, reverses the suplex. Up
Nice
and over.
German suplex
1,
with the
2.
bridge. No!
So now Akiyama's got a 2 count on Kobashi.
This would count as a push.
Yep, no doubt.
And being a Korakuen, it's one of their bigger shows. This is before Gifford Ariake, so actually
Yeah,
this is
it's-
the place for them, other than Budokan.
Yeah, I don't think they have a bigger arena. I have to think about it, but basically everything went around Korakuen in Tokyo and a couple other places in Tokyo, and then they would do Budokan. They would do the Budokan Hall,
Going for the cover after that face plant. No, only a 2 count again.
and everything else was them on tour in different parts of Japan. I don't know if they drew big anywhere other than Japan.
Well, it's funny because a lot of times
Tokyo, I mean.
you do end up with even a big promotion. We know this from the States. While you're there, back in the 80s, before the proliferation of cable and everything, oh, jumping knee!
I like how he extended it too. He had the knee up and then he pushed the knee out to give him a little bit extra force. So maybe that's what it'll take to put away this youngster. Pump handle suplex. Oh, into a doctor bomb. I think that should do it.
And
it
gets
does.
A pretty good little match. Your victor here in about 12 minutes and 53 seconds is Kenta Kobashi.
Yeah.
Nice job by Jun Akiyama for a first match, no question. And clearly you can see where they viewed this guy from the very start.
Yep, we see big upside there. And it ended up not working out, but from the very beginning, he looked like he had the athleticism to become something bigger, and he did, obviously, but never to the heights of the 4 people that were carrying him all that time. And there they are shaking hands.
In case you wondered if he was going to be important or was supposed to be, there you go. Your victor, Kenta Kobashi. No question, you've got a guy there that the promotion wanted to make matter immediately. The other thing I was going to mention, we were talking about how quickly it destroyed these young guys, the style they were wrestling. the key to All Japan to having a lengthy career was to be either too old to engage in that, so you just sort of hung around and had Rusher Kimura matches on the opening ones, or be sort of a guy that was never going to go anywhere anyway, not heavily promoted, so you got a lot of time building up where they didn't have you doing so much crazy stuff because they wanted to save that for the big matches.
Yep, that'll always help where you're in the middle and you're just building and building and building. You get a lot of experience that way.
Even Omori kind of had that in a sense because he took a lot less of a beating for a while.
Yeah, they tried with Omori because he had a look to him, but again, Omori never even worked out. And as a tag guy, you can use a tag partner to kind of fill in the gaps that you have as a wrestler. Find somebody that complements your, covers your weaknesses, complements your strengths. And you can make two guys that may not be big deals on their own into a really big deal. And Team No Fear was a good example of that, elevating Omori way higher than he ever deserved to be.
Yep. And the other place you can see that, and this is with two of the top guys, is I'm not sure, and Kawada had some great singles matches, no question, but I'm not sure Kawada ever looked better than some of the tag matches with Taui. And Taui wasn't great, but Taui was phenomenal in those tags. Exactly what you said. The work with Kawada and whoever else was in the match could cover when Taui was doing basically nothing.
Yeah, and Taui gave the team size and credibility, and that is what Kawada needed, is that Kawada needed a big guy on his team to cover so that it would make more sense when things go down and there are parts in the match that are easier to turn the tide when you've got a big guy, a heavyweight in there. And that's what Taui did for him, and then allowed Kawada to pick his spots and do the things that made sense for him to do.
Right. All right, so that was that match, and again, that's the way to get pushed in your first match. If you can ever have one of the top three guys in the promotion have a back and forth match with you for your first match, you're pretty much in a good place to begin with.
You're doing well for yourself if you're getting a match like this as your debut match.
Yeah, because if you think about it, when we think about guys even like Muto and Chono, there's their first matches in their careers wrestling one another.
Yep.
And you've got Naoki Sano and Jushin Liger before he was Jushin Liger. Their first matches against each other. So normally that's what you've got. You've got two rookies or
two
a guy
young
a couple
guys.
Years in.
So let them kill each other as they try to figure out how to actually wrestle. Don't put this guy in charge of one of our stars. He might hurt him.
Yep.
Just because he doesn't know what he's doing yet. And they trusted this guy, they trusted Akiyama enough to put him against one of their top guys.
Yeah, the only other time you might see that is if a guy is a legit, Olympic champion.
Oh, Nakanishi. Remember, Nakanishi was debuted in late...
that's a whole nother
It was October '92 with Fujinami because he was a legit big deal.
And then, of course, Ogawa. Do I mean Ogawa?
Naoya Ogawa. The other Ogawa.
His first match is a title match
Real
against
big deal.
Hashimoto.
Those were spectacles, though. Those weren't really matches. That was crazy.
So I think we're probably to the point, Dan, where we probably want to get going to our next match.
Let's do the next match. This one's going to be Kazuhika Okada
defending his title?
Defending the title against Minoru Suzuki, and this is from May 3rd, 2013, so only a few months ago.
So 21 years ago to a couple months ago.
Yeah, that's the span of the show.
Wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
I don't know what that means. Let's take a look.
Go to that.
Okada is a kid. His first match, I think he was 16 in 2004.
And you know what? Just in this little time, compare this to the previous match, these guys have an it factor that those other guys didn't have. Certainly Akiyama didn't have.
Absolutely.
And there's no way to quantify it. There's no way really to teach it. It just is. You just either have that sort of thing, but you can see the crowd reacting. You won't see an All Japan wrestler necessarily, certainly not in his first match, doing something like this. In fact,
can you imagine?
Yeah. In fact, in New Japan and All Japan, for the longest time, almost everyone was in black and
black trunks and black boots.
In fact, some of the throwback guys would keep that.
Mm-hmm. I think that's Taichi, who is still, I don't think he's returned yet from this injury, his knee injury. Poor Minoru Suzuki, never got a chance at the big title.
And there you have the IWGP Heavyweight Championship belt. Your champion again, Okada, defending against the man in the traditional black sort of tights, Minoru Suzuki. Okada is less traditional.
Yes. But it worked for him, and I think he's, what, 25 years old? He's a baby in the world of Japanese wrestling. You know, he could easily have 20 years from now.
And there is your challenger, and there's a good shot of the belt.
Yeah, that's a new belt. It's been
International World Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's been done a couple times over.
Now, how do we say his first name again?
Kazuchika
Okada.
His big move is the Rainmaker, which is a short arm clothesline, and he's got a bunch of other moves that are moves that other guys use, but he has to put something related to money on it so that they're his specialty moves. But he's tall. I think he's 6'3", and you can't train that. So to have a guy that's 6'3" who's quasi heavyweightish, you know, with this kind of charisma and background, he's got experience. It's a good setup for him. He's definitely taken advantage, and New Japan has invested a lot of time pushing him to the moon, and it's paying off.
There you have our competitors face to face here. There is your champion.
Has this match even started yet?
No, it has not.
Oh, okay.
There is Minoru Suzuki, who is, Dan, decidedly shorter.
Yeah, there's no doubt he's shorter, but Okada trying to psych out Minoru Suzuki is a waste of time.
Yes.
That is not going to happen.
Despite, he's got the worst haircut. There's no question about that either. Coming right across the
worst? You mean best?
Forearms, but coming right back with a series of forearms and elbow smashes is Okada. Lets him off the ropes. Oh, then gets smacked for that bit of bravado. Whipped into the ropes, coming up, missing the boot, and coming off with one is Okada. Snap, there's him over. Coming off again, and right into a sleeper. That is dangerous.
Oh, into the Gotch-style pile driver. Oh, he almost pulled it off.
Sliding behind is the champion.
Oh, he escaped what was the setup for the Rainmaker. This is not going to be as easy as he thought.
Does he pay his barber, or does he take it out of his flesh afterwards?
Well, the first 400 times he had hair like this, I thought he might have lost a bet, but I think he wants it to be that way. It almost reminds me of the missing link from the old World Class promotion where he would grab the back of his hair and headbutt people. So at the time of...
So how long had Minoru Suzuki been wrestling at the point of Okada's first match? 20 years?
Let's
Not
see, 2004 to 86 or 87, I think. Because he was a New Japan guy.
So 17-ish years.
Yeah, he had 17 years in before Okada even started wrestling. And Okada started wrestling 9 years, you know, this is 9 years into Okada's career.
So putting it into perspective, it is possible that Minoru Suzuki began wrestling before Okada was born?
Almost.
Yep, right in that realm. They are locking up. Leverage you would think would go to Okada here, but maybe not strength itself, though youth certainly plays in his favor.
Sure, no doubt. And like you said, he's maybe young, but he's got 9 years in.
That's right.
So he's not inexperienced.
But probably getting into a technical or ground match with Minoru Suzuki would be a mistake.
Yeah, that's not going to help him much. Let's see who we have.
Working the arm, again with the lariat being a big maneuver for Okada. The more Suzuki works the arms, the better chance he has to lessen the severity of the maneuver. But bringing him right down, going to that leg hold is the champion, and Okada looks pretty good. He certainly has a lot of size, a good look to him. And we're breaking the face, or going to that rip of the mouth is Suzuki. The ref breaks that up.
So our current champions, Okada's the heavyweight champion. The IWGP Intercontinental Champion is Shinsuke Nakamura. There's a never open weight title that Masato Tanaka currently has. The tag champions, I believe, are still Tenzan and Kojima. There's a junior heavyweight title, but I'm not gonna. I mean, I don't remember who the. Devitt left the junior status so he could start fighting heavyweights this year, and since then I haven't remembered who the heck is their junior champion.
Getting up out of that side headlock is Okada, and he's fighting it off. We'll see how the strength does here. He's able to reverse it a bit, and Suzuki may want to get out of this at this point.
Actually, it shows here as recently as July 5th, Devitt was still the junior heavyweight champion, even though he's been fighting some heavyweights.
Huh. Well, we've seen that with a few different juniors. They try and see if they can promote them up and make them into an even bigger deal. Usually it doesn't overall work. Some guys it does. But usually if you've really had success as a junior, this side of Tatsumi Fujinami, you probably are going to be stay there because you're not big enough to make that move. The junior division for him was almost the point to let him go somewhere with a title, while Inoki was still dominating whatever the top rank was. He breaks it up, but comes right back with an overhand strike to the chest. No surprise there. Again, if you recall, early in the match, Okada let him out with no sort of shenanigans. Suzuki did his own forearm now to the mush. So again, we have established unquestionably who the heel and who the face is here.
Yeah, I think that Okada is everybody's heel. Suzuki's everybody's heel. And Okada, even though he is heelish, he can't be heelish to Suzuki because Suzuki is that is who he is.
It's like the Masachono thing, really. Once Chono took on the Black Warrior, if you will, facade, nobody was ever going to be quite as evil as he. Missing the right hand.
Whoa.
Oh, nice maneuver there by Suzuki, and that'll get broken up, but boy, that's a good way to stretch a guy's arm out.
Great visual. Look at that.
Sure
the headstand, arm breaker, you get both people's faces in the shot.
And again, working the arm to minimize the lariat. Comes with a couple of forearms of his own. Whips Suzuki across, reverse into the railing, following it up with a high boot,
Up
sending
and
him
over.
out.
There was a time when this would get you disqualified. If you sent a wrestler over the railing, that was an automatic disqualification. Not so much anymore, though. New Japan, we talked about Noah and All Japan hurting recently. New Japan, whatever the opposite of hurting is where they're at. They've had 75 shows so far this year. 70 of them have drawn 1,000 people or more. And as far as shows drawing more than 2,200, I set the number there because that's the top range of a Korakuen Hall sellout. So I was curious how many big shows outside of Korakuen these promotions were drawing. New Japan has 15 shows so far this year that have drawn over 2,200. Whereas the other promotions, I think Noah has 4 shows that drew over 2,200, and I want to say All Japan has 5. So if you were looking at attendance as a barometer of the promotion's success, New Japan is definitely number 1, and Noah and All Japan are like 3A and 3B. There is no number 2. They're that far off the pace.
Well, they alone have had 2/3 more, 15 to 9. So 2/3 more shows over that number than the other two promotions combined. And again, the TV slot, and they'll do one of those shows has probably been a dome show.
Yeah, a dome show that drew 29,000 people without paper, and they were excited about it. If this had happened 10 years ago, it would have been horrible.
Abysmal, yeah.
But that shows how bad the business was for a while. So 29,000 legit is a big deal. I don't know if they've drawn more than 10,000 since then. I have my doubts just because.
But that's 12 or 13 of those 2,200 shows. So
I mean, you're right.
It's a big deal.
In fact, I think All Japan may have run more shows so far. Yeah, All Japan's run 83 shows. They've just only had 26 of them with 1,000 or more, which tells you that almost 60 of those shows drew less than 1,000. And I'm looking at shows where they drew 301 fans. 301. Kayentai Dojo draws more than that.
Reaching the ropes is Okada to break up the hold, but Suzuki is dominating him right now, keeping it to a ground match, keeping it to nasty tactics, and more of traditional wrestling holds with some nasty kicks and things mixed in. The ground game is going to be to his advantage, keeping it less high-paced offense. And so far, Suzuki's very successful in doing so. Yeah, when I was last in Japan so many years ago, I'll tell you, Dan, there are shows that I attended that had, I remember taking a train to go see an All Japan women's show that was held, it was probably a 5-match show. It was held in like a tent outside next to a train station. I mean, it was, and there were probably, if there were 400 people, I'd be stunned.
Yeah.
And then one of the last times, I went from Differ Ariaka where I saw an Arcean show. Remember Arcean?
I love
almost
Arcean.
Nobody else does, do they?
I love Arcean.
And went to something you won't love, which was a...
FMW.
It wasn't even that. It was an Onita show, an Onita Pro show. And the Onita Pro show was in a parking lot. That one may have had 6,000 people. Something that had a lot of people, and they were rabid. It was insanity. Well, for the cross ombrega and reaching the rope, and that's why it's good to have long legs and long toes
and big lifts on his shoes.
Yeah,
that guy's gonna be able to reach the ropes from just about anywhere. On June 30th of this year, All Japan had a mass exodus. Have you heard this story before?
That sounds vaguely familiar. In fact, Dan, I recall the first real show we did together, we talked about the potential of this, or maybe it had just happened, the mass exodus. Way back when.
Yet because
just
we
about.
were seeing Omori versus Akiyama.
Yep, we were talking about it. We were talking about the possibility that we were going to see this big thing happen. And sure enough, it did. And here we go again. How many people left this time, Dan?
Oh, God. Damn near all of them. June 30th, Muto, All Japan got a new owner and was tired.
Excuse me for a second, Dan. Look at that. He's throwing the forearm, and look at what he's doing. He's completely selling the arm. All the damage that's been done by Suzuki has limited his effectiveness with his biggest weapon.
Yep, the
That's
Rainmaker.
storytelling in the ring.
Yep, absolutely. He's working on a body part that is, critical for the finishing move of your opponent. So they lose. Suwama leaves. I really wish I had more notes here, but basically Muto left with everybody who mattered to go form Wrestle One. Yes, that Wrestle One, back from 2002. And Bob Sapp back in. They've already run 2 or 3 shows. I don't have the attendance for it, but I think they're drawing pretty well. And they're on Gaoro, which is kind of funny because All Japan now is seen on Gaora, and the new Wrestle One promotion is seen on
Coming
Gaora.
off, boot caught by Okada there to stop it. Kicks him again.
Whoa, what the? Oh, okay. That was a weird neck breaker move.
Yeah, but he's still favoring that arm. Well done by Okada.
And that shows you how much influence All Japan's lost. When they were aligned with Nippon TV, you couldn't get away with that. They wouldn't show both promotions, but Gaora is like, hey, we used to do Kantai Dojo. We'll air whatever we can get.
Well, in fact, wasn't there a period where someone was trying to air something else and they were going to lose the contract with, it might have been Noah, when Noah was first starting.
Yeah.
There was a big discussion about keeping the contract with was it Nippon TV?
That was the deal. That was what made Misawa jump, was that he knew he had the backing of Nippon TV, and they were going to back Misawa instead of Motoko Baba, Baba's wife, who wanted a totally different direction for the company. So when Misawa says, I'm thinking of getting the heck out of here, they said, don't worry, we'll air your show. And that screwed All Japan, and they ended up on Gaoro after that.
Yeah, and that's when it went from All Japan to not very much left Japan.
Yeah, it
and
was
really hasn't recovered since.
No.
Had some big New Japan stars come over and still some Gaijin influence, but never really retained at least the tradition. I don't know if you can regain a tradition like that. When you lose that sort of linear connection that they had, which really was their whole thing. Exchanging forearms now, and again, I think this is not going to really benefit Okada at this moment, particularly with Minoru Suzuki's hard head. And still, see trying to work out that arm.
Oh,
drives him
got
back.
Uh-oh. What a punk. How do you out-punk Minoru Suzuki? You just don't do it. So a bunch of people leave All Japan, forming Wrestle One with Muto heading it up, and basically all the old stars of All Japan. So All Japan is just. I'll look at a show after the split on June 30th. Here's a show. This is an exciting one. July 23rd. They drew 127 fans. 5-match show. Suwama, Go Shiozaki, who's part of the invading force from Noah. Atsushi Aoki, another Noah guy. Takawa Omori, Akabono, Miyamoto, Jun Akiyama. So basically, if they didn't have this burning group from Noah leave last year, All Japan's roster would have maybe 5 people in it. And with Akiyama in a singles match, you draw 127 fans.
Wow.
So, you know, take from that what you will.
Snapmare over, coming off the ropes, kick to the chest. Suzuki is in charge and has been doing really well in this match. Goes for a cover, barely gets a 2. He's going to Anuda Hishigigi-yaku Jujigatame!
And it almost looks like the arms crossed over. Oh, he's already rolled.
He's
That's
already
what he's
rolled
done.
through it. Again, long bodies are helpful, particularly long, spry bodies. Rolling around, he's going to reach the ropes easily. He does. The ref will break this, and that'll save any further damage to that arm being suffered by Okada.
So after the split, All Japan has one big show, and they say they're going to combine all 3 belts of the Triple Crown into one belt or something like that. So this is their chance, the fans' chance to see the original Triple Crown belts for the last time. So they hyped it, and it drew 1,300 people to see Suwama beat Go Shiozaki, again, one of the Noah guys, in 35 minutes.
Okay, might have been a decent match, I don't know. Might have been 1,300 is respectable, but I'm not sure. That's a one-trick
For a Triple
pony.
Crown?
It's a one-trick pony. You've also eliminated your Triple Crown, so all your tradition you had remaining.
Well, they're
is
turning
now
it into
gone.
a different belt.
Yeah.
But I mean, tradition-wise, that's all gone.
Yep.
And now they started a Royal Road tournament,
Champion with a body slam. He's going to go up.
which is about 5 months removed from their own champion Carnival. So you can see how desperate they are for new ideas. Whoa!
Big elbow drop right to the chin, but nice job.
Reminiscent of Macho Man Randy Savage. And this Royal Road Open tournament has people like Low Key, Joe Doring, Go Shiozaki, Akabono, Akiyama, Kotaro
Went for the
Suzuki.
Rainmaker there, but reversed by Minoru Suzuki into a sleeper hold. And this is one of Suzuki's big moves, I believe, isn't it, Dan?
Oh.
Turns him around, gonna go for a suplex, reversed by Okada.
Oh, he missed
What
it.
is that?
Nice.
Oh,
Good
back into
job.
an cross arm breaker. Very nice work by Suzuki.
And that's a guy who's got a lot of experience. While you're trying to do some flippy move or some lucha 5-minute introduction to a submission hold, he'll just bail out and go, you know what, I like this better. Boom, arm breaker.
Yep. And again, working on those arms.
Now they've got guys that I've never even seen before in this supposed Royal Road Open Championship thing.
Has him in near mid-ring. He's trying to get over. He's going to reach the ropes again. Boy, it helps to be tall in that situation.
It really does.
But a constant battering and attacking that arm by Suzuki has definitely weakened the effect that he's getting from any maneuvers using that from Okada. The champion's got to come up with something now. He's trying to psych himself back up, offering the arm to him. Of course, at some point maybe he gets hit by the Rainmaker anyway, but the strength of the arm is going to be diminished.
Yep, it is the finisher. It just means that he's going to have to wear down Suzuki that much more for his finisher to be effective.
It'd be good if he could ever get in some sustained offense, because this has been Minoru Suzuki's match so far. You got to wonder, is he going to make a mistake? Is he going to be too much of a showman, you know, do too many stupid things to allow himself to get the victory? But right back to the arm, using that technique that's gotten him where he is. Well, except for the barber. The ref right there to check on the condition of Okada, who was screaming in pain, and yet another arm bar.
And wrenching the fingers too. Wow, he's really got that arm twisted.
Okada's, able to reach the
Made the ropes
again. I guess the good news for Okada is most of the damage has been limited to the arm. So he's still got his faculties otherwise.
He's not getting dropped on his head so much.
Did the uppercut, but still feeling the effects, trying to use that arm. Coming across, sliding underneath Suzuki
Back
into
to the
sleeper hold.
sleeper.
Nice job. Nice counter by Suzuki.
I think he might want to drop and do the body wrap just to mix it up. Otherwise, it's just 3 straight sleepers. The second one he didn't hold on that long for. He twisted it around and went straight for the Gotch-style pile driver. This might not be a bad time for it because Okada appears to be out on his feet. Oh, he may get it this time. Oh, long setup. That doesn't look good for him.
Oh, reverse.
Whoa, watch out.
Like an emerald throws, you know.
That's like a neck breaker over the knee.
Yeah, it looked like he tried to do more, but his arm wouldn't allow him to do it.
Well, that buys Okada some time to recover.
Does.
That was a nice move.
Yeah, that changed the whole nature of this match right now, Dan. And that was the one thing about staying on the arm. Certainly limits that offense, but he didn't allow him to still have enough left to try something else and eventually get something on him that could do some concussive damage, maybe turn the tempo of the match.
Well, again, if anything, it just got him some distance from Suzuki, who had been battering that arm all that time.
Knee lift and a forearm. Whipping him across, reversed by Okada. The champion with a big drop kick takes him down. Barely caught him. Caught him right across the face.
Yeah, right on the jaw. And this is what he was trying to do before. Whoa! It's almost like an STF, but he's got like a... I'm not sure what he's doing.
I think it's possible what he was attempting to do got blocked by Minoru Suzuki rolling over too quickly.
Look at Suzuki, he's grabbing the wrist.
Yep, still working on, and that's still the arm. So if nothing else, the psychology in this match has been very strong. A lot of sensibility in how they're attacking, how Okada's been limited, and what showing off Suzuki's strengths, and which has allowed him to stay in and dominate most of this match. Right now is probably the most sustained offense we've seen by the champion in this contest.
And his injured arm isn't the big part of this move.
Right.
He needs it for support, but it's not where he's putting most of the force. So this move works. It covers for that weakened arm.
Minoru Suzuki trying to drag himself to the ropes. Again, not quite as rangy as Okada, and that's stopping him from getting there already.
And this is a confidence booster for Okada, I would think, because he's tried this move earlier in the match and failed to pull it off. But he got it this time, so that should tell him that he's starting to wear down Suzuki.
And Suzuki reaches the ropes. Yeah, it was just a couple of maneuvers that allowed him to get some serious damage to Suzuki that's turned this match around a bit. Crowd, I would say, solidly behind Okada.
Well, he is the New Japan heavyweight champion, and even though he's kind of a punk, he's their punk.
Trying to get Suzuki around. This may be countered by Suzuki.
Might go up and over. You got to watch out.
Getting to the ropes, series of forearm smashes and elbows to the back of the head. Has Suzuki down. A drop kick. Wow,
man.
Snapped out that foot too. To catch with the top boot right in the mush.
It looks like he raked that boot right across the front of his face. He hit the drop kick at an angle. That looked nasty. Is he going to get the pile driver now? Hey.
Getting up is Okada.
I'm not sure I would go into the pile driver this way again, because Okada, if he's conscious at all, he knows what's next. You're giving him an opportunity to go, I've got to find some way in my weakened condition to reverse this.
Nope, slid behind there.
Nice kick on the weakened arm.
There you go. Okada went for the finisher right there, but blocked by Minoru Suzuki's kick right to the middle of his arm. Able to swing back around into the sleeper.
Rolled through, but couldn't get over him. So the sleeper's still on, and he's got that body wrap I was talking about earlier. No, he thought he did. He didn't get that
Almost
leg
had it.
over.
Had one leg on, not quite underneath, I think, enough to keep it there. Question is he ever going to be able to pull off that Gotch-style pile driver? He's tried it on a couple of occasions, and both times Okada's managed to turn it around.
Well, he's pinning all.
He's the champion.
He's pinning all his hopes on that pile driver, that's for sure, because he keeps going for it. And this sleeper is not going to take care of business. It's been like 4 or 5 times now. He's not going under. I think he needs to weaken him more, set him up more before he tries to use this. Oh, he's going to pull him over. Not bad.
That was nice.
That's what amplifies the strength of the sleeper. This is what's gotten him wins before with the sleeper, is to throw them over.
I'm going to bet, though, not in the 2013 title match.
Yeah. But at least it's a mixing it up instead of just going straight sleeper time after time.
Okada almost to the ropes again. Now Suzuki seems to see it. Yes, look at that. Smart move by Suzuki, just repositioning him enough to try and keep him away, and further pulls him away. Nice job by the challenger.
And he's asking for the call to see if he's given up yet. And that's 2, 1 or 2. This could be the last one. That's 2. One more and he's got him. Oh, he's out there. He's kind of with it. There he is. He's reaching up now, so that prevents that from happening. He's not going to get him on this move at least.
But Okada's championship is very much up in question right now, as Suzuki has been maintaining for the vast majority of the match control of it, and it's been his style, Dan. If you're talking boxing terms, the ring generalship overall in this match has been dominated by Minoru Suzuki.
Yeah, he's dictated much of the action. It seems like most of what Okada's been doing has been in response. He's been reactive instead of proactive in this match. But those long legs and long arms look to save his bacon again.
Yep, he's almost there. Now, can Suzuki pull him back away from there again? Problem is, eventually, as you're pulling one way, the leverage, you get towards the corner area, the guy's going to be able to swing enough of his body, particularly this body, to reach some point. Going for the cover. He's got him pretty close. Whoa! Just kicking out as the champion.
Right at the last second. Just covered in sweat, and this is only May. I can't even imagine what it's like over the summer. We'll be showing some of those matches too coming up. More heavyweight championship matches from New Japan, since that footage seems to be more prevalent or available.
You can also show Dragon's Gate, Dan.
Oh yeah.
Lots and lots of Dragon's Gate.
Who doesn't like Dragon Gate? It's terrible.
Forearm, but that's all he's gotten, collapses. Now Suzuki, I think, is going to go straight for the Gotch
slap
pile
him across
driver.
the face, I think. Well, he will if he can get Okada to come up. Ooh, look at the sweat flying off Okada's face. Ow, man.
I think he's wasting his time, though. I mean, these are doing a little damage, but nothing, I don't think it's really sustainable.
Well, maybe he's waiting to see if Okada can respond. If he can, he'll go to the pile driver. What the heck? Sometimes I think Suzuki's his own worst enemy. I believe Okada is ready for that pile driver if he would just try to give it to him. I think he's asking for it at this point. He's ready for it.
Problem is, eventually you almost wake the guy up with some of this beating, and then not only that, you're giving him time to almost recover, because those aren't that damaging, those slaps.
I think they're more to test Okada to see what Okada's got left.
Here we go, and does he get it this time?
Let's see. It's close. He's got him.
He's got him, unless somehow he fights out. He's trying is Okada, the champion, fighting out, and he manages to get his legs back down.
But that's all he's got. It's instinct at this point, just trying to fight it off.
Trying to use his strength to lift him up, using a little bit of leverage there.
Well, he's got size and weight, too.
Yep.
but I just don't think he's got the strength now.
Oh, now he did. Dropping down will make it much more difficult for Minoru
Quite
Suzuki.
a bit more.
The leverage the way it is now, there's no way. Manabu Nakanishi might get you up here.
Yeah, I don't know
Scott
what
Norton
he's going to do.
might, but Minoru Suzuki isn't going to. Oh, but that'll put him back down anyway. Suzuki in complete control of this match right now, but he's, you want to take the title, you better finish it while you have the chance.
Yeah, whoa, what the heck?
He somehow swung around, pile driver there.
Yeah, it's like he took a little extra time trying to set up that
Too
move.
much punk for his own good there.
Yep, and rolled right into a position where it could be reversed.
You can see Okada not even beginning to have the strength to take advantage of that pile driver. In fact, the first person up is Suzuki, but I think that was the opportunity.
Missed opportunities seems to be the theme of this. Suzuki's controlled the offense, controlled the pace and the flow of the match, and I just think he missed his time with that Gotch-style pile driver. He went 2 or 3 more strike sequences longer than he needed to. And now I think we're going to have the Rock'em Sock'em Robots portion of the match.
Goes for the uppercut. Remember, he also hasn't been working that arm for several minutes. Third uppercut. His strikes are cleaner than Okada's right now still, but
now it's not affecting him.
That was a good uppercut.
Now Okada's starting to fight back. That's the problem.
That was a great uppercut that he ran right into. Uppercut
to the back of the head. You don't see that every day.
Drop kick to the back of the head and face first planted is Minoru Suzuki. The champion may have a chance here to retain his title. He's going to have to do something quickly though. Seize his advantage while he's got it.
Oh, now he's going to go for another pile driver? What is going on here?
Blocked by Suzuki.
I don't know how you block that move by lifting the leg that he needs you to lift to get the move off. Unless I'm looking at the wrong move.
He was lowering his center of gravity on the other side, but it's weird.
There we go.
Got him that time though.
Oh, he's going to be his own kind of gotchy version.
Oh, plants him well.
He might be able to do it with this. No, he's going to want to get the thing on, the Rainmaker.
He has a chance now. He's done some good, powerful work, and it's all because Suzuki allowed it in a sense. Going for the Rainmaker, takes him down and folds him over.
I think he got him.
2. And there you have it. Your champion defends his title in 30 minutes and 49 seconds.
The Rainmaker into a single leg pin. Your winner, Kazuchika Okada.
And that's just about all the time we have for today. We'll roll credits over this. We'd like to thank you for joining us. We'll see you again next week on Toukon Retsuden. Sayonara.
耐えて忍んでっていうのはありますけど、一瞬ですよね、あの一瞬の限界を超えてますよ、普通だったらね。